Hi guys, this is Saturday and these are my horsey insights, my Saturday horsey insights and life insights. um, yeah, I love to get up on Saturday mornings and have my coffee and read my books, and I brought some books out here today, but the main one that I was reading today was Horses in Translation. And this is a really, really good book, and I don't know if I've talked about it before. Chancey's out here having some free time. Hi, guys. And anyway, reading just a little bit that I read today, and it was actually something that I read before, but I reread it, and it just made me have these horsey insights and just insights to life, and just it got me thinking about some different things. And I watched a video too by somebody else, and he has a great channel. It's Infinite Waters, and this is something that I've kind of been struggling with, kind of with this channel in a way, because whenever you do something like this and you're in the public and you do things your way, you can get criticized by the way that you do things. And it's not just in the horse world, it's in the fitness world too. But I had gotten to a place in the fitness world where I was just confident. I spoke my truth. I learned what worked for me. I worked with a bunch of other people, and I just spoke my truth. I spoke what I felt and my truth. And, you know, now being here sharing with my horses, this is about my horse journey. And sometimes it's hard to put yourself out there and share the way that you do things, especially if you do things differently. And I think I do a little bit. I think everybody does. But anyway, I came across this video. It was very fitting for today by Infinite Waters. His name is Ralph Smart, and I think he has like 2 million subscribers, or 1.5 million or something like that. But he has really inspiring videos, and I hadn't watched him for a while, and I came across this one today, and I thought it was very fitting, and it was called Speak Your Truth, Even If You're Afraid. And, you know, I think I've mentioned in a couple other lives from before, you know, I like to talk about certain things, and, you know, you wonder if people are going to judge you, especially being in the horse world. You know, there's different methods and stuff out there. I think sometimes the horse world can be considered maybe where the person is dominant over the horse, you know, the leader. And I'm going to talk about that today too, because that came up in, I can't remember if it was in this book, but it came up in my insight. So after I watched this video on Speak Your Truth, he just talked about find the confidence and courage to speak your heart and your mind. And sometimes I think I dance around certain things so I can say things the right way, so it might be more accepted, and instead of speaking, you know, really truly from my heart, and explaining things the way that I explain it, or the way that I see it. Because, you know, sometimes I think we can compare ourselves to other people and in a certain field, and we compare, and then we don't think that, you know, our stuff is as good as their stuff. But you know what? It's like we have our own certain way that we see things, and that we, the way that we explain things. And that's what my horsey journey is about. And just me learning along the way. And again, I'm not a horse trainer. And that came up in this book today, because I think the reason I say that is because, you know, she talks about how, you know, you want to think of yourself more as a teacher and a coach. And that's what I think of myself as, is more of a teacher and a coach for my horses and my fitness clients. That's the way I've been with my fitness clients. You know, it's not about me just telling them what to do. It's about me suggesting things, and then if it doesn't work, listening to what they have to say and their feedback. And I think our horses do that too. So it's about a team. It's about a relationship between you and your horse. And, you know, and I learned that with my clients. It's I'm not just there to be the trainer and say, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this, which sometimes I can, and I joke. But I'm always open. I always tell them, you know, tell me if you're not feeling something. Tell me if something hurts. Tell me if you're not feeling what you're supposed to be feeling. And there's always a way to adjust it and make it to where it works. So anyway, that's what this video was about that I saw was, because what you're most afraid of will be the very thing that will help you become your greatest version. It's time to express yourself like never before. Speak your heart and speak your mind. And yeah, I just really liked that. And maybe that wasn't for me to share with you. Maybe it was just for me. But after I watched that, Bella, I don't know if can you see my little cat down here? She is just like, she's distracting me. But yeah, in my last video with Mousy, Lunging Mousy Live, I've been thinking about things, and these insights came to me from reading this little part in this book, Horses in Translation, where let's see. Yeah, she talks about the leadership. For many, the term has come to mean the boss, to mean being the boss. Leadership, you know, being a leader of your horse, that term has come to mean being the boss. This image tends to place people in a certain mindset, which leads to a competitive, dominance-based relationship with their horses. And it says what she's discovered is that to be a truly effective leader with the horse is to consider oneself to be a teacher or a coach. And the horse's first teacher, first leader, first coach, and first mentor was his mother. And she talks about how the relationship between the horse and its mother, that came from a nurturing and strong, healthy boundary relationship. So the mother is very nurturing and also sets strong, healthy boundaries at the same time. And she talks about how your relationship with your horse can become deeper and you develop a better bond. And I believe that, you know, and it's let's see, what did I read? She also has a term in here called zero, getting to zero. And zero, I don't know if anybody's been, oh, now I can see. Oh, there's two people. Hi. I hope nobody commented because I didn't see. But anyway, I like what she says about this term. It's called zero, and it means getting to the state of being in the present. And that's what I call with my fitness clients being centered. You're centered in your body. And when you are centered in your body, you're in the moment, you're in the present, and you're aware and you're calm. And so I like that term that she uses, that. And then I'm just kind of going over what I read, and then I'll read my insights that came to me. Yeah, let's see. Oh, this is something that I want to try today too. So after this live, I'm going to do another live lunging Mousy. And it says, so if a horse expresses concern about his world right in the middle of a conversation we are having with him, all other thoughts must be put on hold while we address his concerns. Luckily, the more successful we are in training ourselves to do this, the more secure our horses feel about their world. This brings nearly an end to spooking, and when a spook does happen, the horse tends to regroup with us rather than believing they need to escape from us. And when I was lunging Mousy the other day and I was talking about the cones and how he reacted to the cones, I had a cone on each side, so I knew to stay on camera, and he kicked at him. And, you know, I was like, I had watched a movie, or not a movie, a video on YouTube by Chris Irwin, and he talked about there's 3 awarenesses. And the first one is your awareness of yourself. And then the second one is the relationship awareness between you and your horse. And the third awareness is the environmental awareness. And so when I read that part, you know, I started thinking about it. It's like Mousy is kind of in tune and aware of his environment. And I mean, even to the point where I've been doing something with him on the ground or riding him, and it wasn't me, because he wasn't picking up on me because I wasn't aware of it. But my neighbor and friend, Carolyn, she lives behind me, and she would come and like come over to the fence over here. And without me even knowing that she was coming, I could feel his body get tense, and his head would go up and his ears would go up, and he would look that way. And I'm like, what are you looking at? And then I would see my friend, and I was like, oh, okay. So putting everything together, I started thinking, it's like those cones, you know, must have kind of created some kind of concern. You know, he's like, okay, the last time we lunged, these weren't here. And I thought, well, maybe he's just really in tune with these cones and his environment. And today, what I want to try, I haven't lunged him since then. I haven't had a chance. So it's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 days maybe. So this will be the first time lunging him since that last lunging live. But I wanted to try something different and see if we kind of just walked around the outside of the circle and let him see the cones and just kind of get acquainted with them from the outside of the circle instead of just on the inside, and just go up and see the cones and everything, and then lunge him and just see if it made a difference. I'm just kind of curious, you know. It's like that's what just popped in my mind when I was reading that and thinking about everything. It's like, you know. But I think things like that, I think when things pop in your mind, I think it's good to try them. And I've done that throughout my fitness training and when I competed as a bodybuilder and trained. You know, you have to have a routine, but you also have to be open to trying new things and different things and things that pop in your mind. You know, I do that a lot with my clients. When my clients come in, I don't ever have anything planned. I just go by what feels right for that day. So, and I always did that with myself too. I always had a hard time going in with something planned, written on paper. I can't do that. That's too routine for me. I'm like the queen of the routine of no routines because I like to just like feel in the moment. And I think I've gotten really good at that because I listen and trust to the stuff that comes in, you know, that I get. So if I'm working with a client and, you know, we do one exercise and then a certain exercise pops in my mind, and it can be something that we've done or it could be something just totally new. It's like, oh, I just thought of something new. Let's try this. And usually my clients are open to try something new, you know. So what I am going to do today when I lunge him, like what I was just talking about with the cones, this is going to be something new. I never thought to try this before, but I'm going to try it and just see if it makes any little bit of a difference. You know, it's like he could have just been concerned. It's like, why are these cones out here? So yeah, I'll be curious to see how that is. So I kind of got that idea from that little bit that I read in this book. But my insights today, you know, after reading and then watching that video and stuff, this stuff just started coming to me. And it's just like things sometimes that I sit in quiet and kind of like in a meditative state, these things started coming to me. And the first thing was horses can resist when they aren't liking what you are doing, or it could be just the energy behind what you are doing, especially if it's something new to them or new to you, or both. Having a gap in communication with your horse can create misunderstanding. Yeah, I was just thinking about, you know, certain times when riding Chansey where he's resisted a little bit, and you know, certain things that baby's done. Oh, wait, who? Oh, thank you. Oh, hi. Vic, right? It's Vic, and I didn't see the other one. Oh, it's not. And Bunker. Okay. Hi, guys. But, yeah, you know, I just started thinking about, you know, because that's like something that I always say too. You know, it's not just about what you do, it's about how you do what you do. And, you know, your intent and your energy behind what you do. And I was just thinking about certain things, you know, it's like, that's how I learn. I think I get better with my horses is, you know, after the fact. I sit and think about different things, and different things come to me. And so that's kind of what I was doing, you know, and I can see how that creates like a gap in, a gap between you and your horse and your communication. You know, if it's something new to both of you that you're trying, you know, and they're resisting it, it might not just be because it's something different. It could be your energy behind it, and it could be like the energy of you not exactly knowing what to do and you trying to figure it out, and they pick up on that too. So just, you know, the resistance doesn't really necessarily have to be a bad thing. But then I wrote, and when there's a misunderstanding, there can be resistance and possibly even frustration. So, you know, if you're trying to do something and they're resisting and you're just not getting it, it's like, you know, I've gotten to that point before when it's like, oh, I feel frustrated. Why am I frustrated? Why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? And the frustration comes if you don't stop and take a look at the situation. Gaps in communication with your horse starts with gaps in communication with yourself. So, you know, some people will try to push through that frustration, and they keep trying to do the same thing over and over, and it's like it's not working. And if it's not working, why do you keep trying to do it? Isn't that the definition of insanity? You know, so I think, and sometimes it's hard to, and well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm jumping ahead. Let me just read what I wrote. Yeah, the gap in communication starts with yourself. If you're not aware of you and your body and your mind and emotions and your energy, how can you know what's really happening? What's really being said? You know, what's really being said between you and your horse? What's going on? You know, if you're not paying attention to what you're feeling and how you're doing things, it's like you can't really help it to get unstuck, help you and your horse to get unstuck to close that gap. Because I think that gap happens because you're stuck and you don't know what to do, and you're trying to do the same thing over and over again, and that frustration sets in. And just all of it really starts with us. You know, the communication with your horse and everything. It starts with us and us knowing ourselves and Sometimes it's hard to stop when we're in the middle of something that isn't working. But if it isn't working and we keep pushing through, I think that's what causes the frustration. Because when you start to feel that way and you're like, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. And it's like, to me, frustration means that what I'm doing isn't working and I need to change something, either what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. And sometimes it even means to stop for the day. And that can be hard sometimes, when you're trying to achieve a certain goal and you're working on something and, you want to get to that point where you got it, and it can be hard to stop sometimes, but sometimes it's the best thing to do for the day is to stop what you're doing and regroup and try again the next day. A lot of times too, it's like when that happens to me, it's like insights or answers come to me, later that day or that night or in my dreams or the next day. I might read something or, come across a video or something and it just helps me. And you're like, okay, you have an aha moment. And then this is like kind of like some different thoughts that I was thinking of between Chansey and Baby. And different horses respond differently to a person's dominance, or I'd rather call it impatience, because I think dominance is us humans trying to sometimes make things happen sooner or faster than they should. To me, that's dominance. For instance, like, training for a show. It's different when, like, if it's yourself and you're training for a fitness show, it's just you. But then when you have a horse involved or an animal and you have certain goals that you want to accomplish, so say a horse show, and the horse show is in, say, a month, but really, say, if you took your time and, like, were a team together with your horse, say the horse's speed was like 3 months, but you're making everything happen faster to try to get it done in a month. To me, it's like, you might not necessarily listen to all your horse's messages and push that horse too fast, but every horse is different. So, but to me, it's the dominance is, it's like, it's about just about your goals, and it doesn't really matter what the horse is thinking or feeling. And so I call it impatience too, rather than dominance. It's because we can be, as humans, impatient, and we want to get things done now instead of, caring more about the relationship with your horse. And I wrote, it's more about the human's timeline instead of the horse's. So whenever you're being dominant or impatient, you are not truly feeling and being in the present. And since horses are in the present, they live in the present. If you become too impatient, you're leaving your horse. You lose your connection, and that's what creates the communication gap. That communication gap opens, and you're trying. It's because you're trying to achieve a goal. And I've talked about this for a long time with, like, my fitness clients. To me, when you're trying to achieve a goal, you have two eyes. And I think the best way to do that is have one eye here on your heart and one eye on the goal. So that keeps you centered and in touch with your body and your feelings and what you're supposed to do while the other eye that's on your goal helps to drive you forward and keep you moving forward towards your goal. You know, I think if you have both eyes here on your heart, you just are just really content and you don't care about really trying to achieve anything. And if you have two eyes out there on your goal, you get too in your head and too far ahead of yourself, and you lose touch of like your feelings and your body and your reality, and you kind of lose touch of like what you are really supposed to do, because now you're doing it just from your mind, and sometimes we can make bad choices that way, which I kind of got off track just a little bit. But yeah, trying to achieve a goal you have in your head takes you to the future. Achieving a goal takes mind power, you know, but if you go, like I said, too far into the future, you know, with both eyes, like I'm going after that, that it makes us lose our feel because we've left the present. You know, the two eyes on the goal, you've left the present moment and you're moving to the future. And I wrote, we want one eye in the goal and one eye in our heart. And then I thought of the song, and it was funny because Rocky was on TV. I thought of the song, Eye of the Tiger. And it doesn't say eyes, the eyes of the tiger. It says the eye of the tiger. The eye of the tiger is just one eye, right? And it's like, I thought that was funny when that came up. Anyway, both eyes on the goal are both eyes on the goal or what we are trying to achieve for that session gives us hard eyes. And hard eyes are harsh and not feeling. They are too concentrated. So, and you can practice this like when you're with your horses or riding your horses. And I saw a Western pleasure trainer talk about this, and it's like so true, because it's like I've always done it with my fitness too. And, you know, so I relate that to the horses. And, you know, it was funny to see her talking about this, because harsh eyes, when you're riding, your horse can feel that. Or I don't want to say harsh eyes, hard eyes. And hard eyes means that you're just looking at something too focused, too concentrated. That would be two eyes on the goal. Like you're out there trying to accomplish something and you just get these hard eyes, which is like a harsh energy. It makes your body kind of tense. And your eyes are just this way. You know, they're forward. And it really affects the way that your horse travels and goes. It feels that. And if you can learn to pull your eyes back and get soft eyes, your breath automatically changes, your body relaxes, and your horse slows down and your horse relaxes. And when I saw her talking about that and I watched the person that she was helping, it does make a big difference. And I know it does just from my horses. And that's what I try to do when I ride too, is have soft eyes. And to me, soft eyes is, it opens you up to all of your senses, because to me, if you think about it, like if you're looking at something, you know, away from you, you know, with both eyes, and you're very intent and you're like looking, you know, it's like you get hard eyes. But if you pull your eyes back, you know, it's like I call it pulling them back. And it might sound weird, but it feels like I'm pulling out my ears. So, you know, you're pulling back one sense, one physical sense, and pulling out another. You know, because sometimes I think, you know, if we get one of our senses like too focused, you know, the other senses, you know, kind of come in. So it's like if I pull my eyes back and pull my ears out, so now it's like I have another sense that I'm working with. So I'm working with my eyes, my ears. I can feel my breath. And yeah, so the soft eyes just opens you up to your other senses. And it's like you're using peripheral vision instead of like forward focused vision. And your horses can feel that. Your horses can feel, because your breath changes. If you pay attention to your breathing and your body, your whole self just relaxes. And I used to do that, training too. You use the mirror when you're training in the gym. You use the mirror, I use it with soft eyes, peripheral vision, just to kind of see my form. I don't use it to like stare and look at my body, because that draws you out. Because when you use your peripheral vision, you still stay in your body. So that's like still having one eye on the heart and one eye on the goal. But it keeps you in touch with your feel, and it helps you to just observe in the moment and not judge and compare. When you use those hard eyes, you're judging and comparing, and you're just like, it stops your breathing. Your body gets tense because your breath isn't going deep. Your horse feels that, and your horse will not travel as smoothly. It might speed up a little bit. It might be a little choppier in its movement. Its head might elevate just a little bit. But if you pull your eyes back and have those soft eyes, all of a sudden you can breathe. Your breath and your body relaxes. Your neck and shoulders relax. And that takes us back to speaking your truth, which is your throat chakra, which deals with the neck and shoulders. When you're not breathing deep, this tends to tense. It's because you're up in your head and you're not breathing deep. And probably more than likely you're going to have hard eyes. You're too focused on something and you're judging and comparing or whatever, when you just need to pull those eyes back to soft eyes, get back in touch with your feel and your heart and your breathing. And that's what brings you to the present. And when you're in the present, you're connected with your horse again. So the gap and the miscommunication that we have sometimes starts with us, I think, and just not being aware of ourselves, and what we're feeling, and being centered in our bodies. And when you're centered, you do have those soft eyes. Your eyes are pulled back. And the way I explain it to my fitness clients, you want to be centered from front to back, top to bottom, and left to right. That's like, centered. So when I work with my horses, because I trained for so long, I know how to get centered like that, if I'm not already. But it's like I breathe. And it's just like you're in the gym and you're getting ready to do a heavy bench press. You have to be centered. Your mind can't be anyplace else, but I'd like sit on the end of the bench and just breathe. Take a couple deep breaths, get inside my body. And once I felt that way, I'd like lay back on the bench and then lift, get under the bar and lift it up and do my press. And I do that when I'm getting ready to work with my horses. It's like I just take a deep breath, feel myself get centered, and then just kind of take it from there. That puts you in touch with them and what they're feeling, and also gives you ideas too of what to do, because a lot of times I don't do the same things. I just try to go moment by moment, and every time's a little bit different. When I come out and work with my horses, I try to leave what we did last time. I try to leave that there. When I'm coming out for a new session, it's like it's a brand new day. It's a clean slate. It's like, because I used to get stuck in the trap of when they do really good at something, then the next day you're excited, you come out and you're like excited to do it again. And then when they don't, you know, you kind of get like disappointed because it's like, well, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And it's like, so I've learned not to expect anything, not to expect that it's going to be the same, that you're going to do the same things, that they're going to do the same things the same way. You know, it's like, and I think things turn out a lot better when you don't expect. When you just come out and you just let whatever you're supposed to do for that day, you just let it happen. And this is what a Western pleasure trainer was talking about too. And I liked it because it makes sense. And I do this with my fitness clients too, and I do it with my horses. It's like some days, you know, you just come out and you just start, and your horse will tell you what you need to work on for that day. And she calls it diagnosing. When she gets on the horse, she's like, I'm diagnosing and seeing, oh, right there, he just did this, so this gives me something to work on. So she just waits and lets her horse tell her what to work on for that day. And I think that's a good way to do it, you know, and just let it unfold as you do your session. And I like that too, because then I just feel like you're doing the right thing for the right time and the right day. It just unfolds itself, and that's kind of what makes it fun in a way. You know, it's like, but for some people it makes it not fun because it's like the unknown, not knowing what you're going to work on when you come out. It's like, what do I do? Some people don't know what to do with that. Some people are afraid of the unknown. But I think that disappears when you're just in the present. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to be in the present. And, you know, what are we going to work on? What are we going to do? So anyway, I think that's it. Yeah, this is 37 minutes so far. So I just wanted to share that. Those were my, let's call those Saturday horse insights. And I think that's the hardest thing about starting a live is like knowing what to title it. You know, I can always go back and change it, but I was thinking the thing that we talked about the most, I think, was just the closing the gap between you and your horse. And that gap is created by the horse being in the present and you being in your mind and not really feeling and sensing your horse and what's going on. So when your horse does something, you know, sometimes I think we can blame the horse or just not know what to do. And then there's just that miscommunication. But it's like if you're in the present, your horse is in the present, and they do something, it's like, okay, what did I just feel? That's what I always ask myself. It's like when they do something, it's like, okay, why is he doing that? Why is he cutting in? You know, it's like Mousy will cut in sometimes. Chancey, when it's just me and him and I'm not trying to make a video, I do pretty good keeping him out. Mousy, though, yeah, it's like, okay, why is he cutting in? And then if I pay attention to my energy, it's like, okay, I'm inviting him in with the way that my energy is. I need to be a little more maybe assertive with my energy, keeping my energy out. But you learn about yourself that way. And yeah, and whatever it is that they do, you know, like I was thinking about Baby, you know, sometimes when I'm riding her, I've had times where she's good and then, you know, I'll do something and she'll shake her head, you know, and it's like, she's not liking what I was doing at the time. And it's like, it wasn't really that much different than it was earlier, but, you know, you might have a certain energy behind it that made it a little bit different, you know, or maybe your breathing changed or something like that. So I look at all those kind of things, and it might sound weird, and, you know, I'm not thinking when I'm riding or doing things. I'm just observing, you know, and I think she talked about that in her book. You know, you want to observe, and then I think about things later. you know, but I observe, you know, what was I just thinking or what was I just feeling? You know, what was my energy? What just happened? What just created that? And it's like, I'll change what I can in the moment, and then I don't think about it. I'll think about more of the whole process later, and just think about, oh, okay, you know, because I think more stuff comes to you later when you like take a look at it again. And anyway, that's just the way that I look at things sometimes. I think it's a little bit different, and maybe it's not. Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's other people that do that too. But yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody like talk about stuff like this. And yeah, don't know how people are going to take it, but I just had to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and end this. And I think I'm going to Chancey's been doing some turnout time. And I'm going to go ahead and put him up, give him a little snack. And then I think I'm going to get Mousy out and do a live session with him, lunging and maybe some other stuff, maybe some desensitizing and stuff like that. So hope you guys are having a great Saturday, and hope you guys come back for the live lunging with Mousy. Okay, bye-bye.